Welcome everyone, gabestah here. Today we're looking at our 16th episode in the Orcs Must Die walkthrough series, and this is the library mission. And this is a pretty challenging mission because we have two entrances opposite each other, going to two opposite rifts. And because the spawns from any given entrance will go to each rift, you can't just simply block off one of these entirely and then defend the other side. You have to defend both rift areas. So to do that, you're given a new tool this mission called the Swinging Mace, and I'll show you how it works. But essentially it takes up three 4x4 blocks on the ceiling, and then it swings back and forth and does a lot of damage. The problem is it's very slow, so you have to find a way to prevent things from getting through it before it can swing. So to go through the mission, I'm going to use the Ice Amulet because we have a new type of ogre called Fire Ogre. And in addition to being really tough and having a lot of health, it's immune to fire, obviously. So the Ice Amulet is really good for that. And then we'll do the sword and the bracers, tar trap, barricade, wall blades, brimstone, and a swinging mace. So my general plan here is, as you can see by the swinging mace, if I throw one up, takes up a lot of space on the ceiling. And if I'm an orc coming through here, you can see I can easily walk through between the swings of the mace. It's not really a constant swinging motion. So to get around that, we need to block people in. So we're going to do that by building a set of two barricades on either side.
This won't hurt a bit.
And then we'll finish it off when we get enough money by putting one here. And that will force all the orcs to go through this path. Walking, instead of through the mace, they have to walk along the path of it. All three squares. And that's ideal. That said, you won't have much defense for the early waves, so you gotta use your hero. So one thing I do is run up really close and then use Flame Bracer, the right click. And that gets a lot of things fried. And we'll finish off the block there. And then once we get enough money, and start doing some tar traps down here to make sure things are slowed properly. Alright, and as mentioned, so now we have some really good early defenses for this side, but obviously this other rift entrance is completely unguarded, so we need to still be really on the ball to kill everything ourselves. You'll notice on this third wave we have a single spawn from the south. So usually in these later missions when you have just one or two spawns from a particular entrance, it means it's something really tough, like an ogre. And in this case, it is a fire ogre. So I'm finishing off everything else, and then I'll use the freeze on the ogre. And I could kill it, but I'm gonna freeze it, and then the mace there kills it. So I need a little bit more defense over here. So I'm going to do some brimstones, and then we'll finish it off with some slicers on either end. On our wall blades. And that should be pretty solid. Be careful on this fourth wave, you've got a lot of kobolds, and they are fast enough to get through your defenses, as well as obviously pass you the other direction. So I'm going to use the fire again. And one thing on this map, there are some portals near the rifts, so you want to watch your minimap closely to see if anything escapes through your defenses, and then you can rush through the portal, which is down here. That'll port you to the other side. So that way we're okay though. So I'm going to do the wall blade, and then I'm going to invest, start to get some money back with Death Augmenter.
Decisive. I like that.
So I'm trying to be careful here to defend the side that doesn't have defenses on it. It's going to be a pretty tricky wave though. There's a lot of stuff. And again, just watch the mini-map. See if anything escapes through your defensive area. So far it looks okay. Be careful of your health. Heal up if you need to. That went pretty well. So I'm going to start building up the opposite defenses here on this other side. And take advantage of the choke points you're creating with the Flame Bracer. It's really strong in those areas, since they can't get through. So we've reached the next break, so we get a big influx of cash, and this is going to be really useful.
This is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. No, wait, other way around.
It looks like we have just another spawn or two at the south, so it's probably going to be some ogres. So I'll start with the massive side. Alright, so we have some kobolds. I'm going to use the flame, and then I'm going to go back and freeze ogres here. So the flame wall does a really good job of buying you time, especially against kobolds. So let's do brimstone, and then we'll finish it off with the wall blades when we get a chance. And you'll see here I tend to run up to the entrance of one side, use the flame bracer, and then go to the opposite side. And this is just a pretty efficient way to do it. So I'm going to take a defensive position behind my traps so I don't get shot by crossbows too much. Plus I'm pretty confident in my defense at this point. Very nice. So we can do another setup here. Now, obviously that means that once we build out on this side, that'll protect this entrance, thoroughly, but this one only has one, and we can't build on the ceiling here, so most of your hero defense will need to be on this south entrance. And again, just letting the traps do most of it, but watching the minimap, make sure nothing slips by. So far it looks pretty good. So let's create our choke here.
Sometimes I almost feel bad for the orcs. Except, not really.
There we go. So again, now just focus on the south, because anything that comes through from the north is going to have to go through 2, no matter which direction. So that's pretty solid. Looks like you got Fire Ogre. So again, make sure you use freeze on it. Oop, lag in there. Okay, we almost got an ogre going through. He barely made it. So something to watch for on this 10th wave. Looks like there's an ogre from both sides. But otherwise it was pretty handily dealt with. There we go. So I'm pretty sure that's ahead of par time, but we'll double check. So the key there was just having that pathway that forces everything along the length of the swinging mace, and then keeping defenses on either side of that as backup. Specifically, like the Brimstone is really good. And yeah, we beat the part-time pretty well. Brimstone is really good at catching any stragglers that will come out from either side. So we now have enough for quite a few upgrades, and these are all really good traps to get. I tend to use the Clockwork Mace the most, so I'm going to do that. And as you can see, it just basically makes it keep swinging rather than delay between swings. And then we'll continue on to the next mission.